Hey everybody, Luke Chiquetto here. I wanted to explain to you folks that are dealing with pain, you can get rid of your pain if you understand this concept. I'm going to draw it up behind me on the whiteboard here. It is something that I find myself thinking about quite often, and I felt like I needed to make a video and share it with you so that this concept can be easily used for any sort of pain, headaches, back pain, shoulder pain, anything that you're dealing with that is in a form of pain. You can see how the body then is creating it regularly. You see, so you have an old brain, and that old brain has never been deleted since the beginning of time. And it's a small brain. They call it a reptilian brain. Then you have the midbrain. That's never been deleted. And then we have the intellectual brain. And it makes up the whole brain inside. And in too much detail, I'm not going to get into it with the brain of how all of that functioned. I just wanted you to get the simplicity of it. So imagine if you were the first on the planet, and being the first on the planet, you'd be having a brain that was this big, right? Not saying that that's the size, I'm just using it as an example, but let's say that would be your brain, right? And you want to climb a tree, and you want to climb the tree. There's no 24-hour fitness, there's no Mobility RX, there's nothing around that says I got to go work out first. You have an RNA in your system, and that RNA will mirror whatever it needs to mirror to develop your DNA to do so. So if you go and you start having the thought of climbing the tree, it started to produce in that little brain, it started to produce the DNA and the structural muscles and everything you needed to be able to climb the tree. Now, you may not get up the tree easily, but I'm giving you painting an image here where you're trying and you're trying and trying, and you're starting to develop muscles and so forth. And then you learn about rope and all that stuff that goes with it, all the details. Okay, great. Now you start to get up the tree, right? Well, as you pass down your genetic genome to your new children and you're still practicing getting up the tree, they now have all of the data that you got, 50% of you, 50% of your partner, now put that into a baby form, and it's going to probably want to climb the tree like you're doing, but then it's going to grow as we grow through the evolutionary process. You see, so everything that you do is made up in your mind, and everything is an imaginarily happening to you first before you project it out into a physical being. You're having the thought of climbing the tree. It's an imaginary thought of like, how can I get up to that thing? You don't even know what you call it. Pass down the genes to your new child, and as we evolve, you can see how it evolved. Now you got a larger brain because the brain now encompasses two parts to the brain. It's a bigger brain. It's evolving, and as that evolved, then you encompass the intellectual brain, which is what we are part of now, which is all encompassing. But the thing that I wanted people to realize is that you don't delete any one of those parts. So if you back up to the beginning of what I was talking about, and you came across an animal that was a threat, the little brain would have produced whatever it needed chemically to fight off the threat, no? Well, in that portion of it producing all of the adrenaline and all of the cortisols and all the things that we studied now currently and we talk about, it's never not going to do that, right? That's part of the fight flight, it's part of the autonomic nervous system. Well, in the intellectual mind, it can set up and go to Hollywood and you can watch a movie. Well, within that movie, it's going to place something in the screen that's going to be fearful. It's automatically going to turn it on. Well, that's your auto response to everything that's going on. So be gentle with yourself when you think, oh, I need to have an intervention. No, that intervention that you may need somebody to help you with is legitimate because you don't know how to get out of it. Because your brain is constantly going and going and going. And because it's constantly going and it's constantly on, it's not going to not try to figure out a way to get through whatever's going on in that turmoil of your life at that moment. So my point to that is that you think that mechanically, because the intellectual mind has evolved into the mechanical mind, it has evolved into the industrial age. We think mechanically inclined. Oh, if I just change the carburetor, I will run better. If I change, oh, I could pull my heart out and put a new heart in. It's like that's what we think like, but realistically, it has everything to do with the communication of what's going on in your life. And so if you understand this portion of it, I have more details to share with you. But if you can understand this portion of it, you can eradicate any pain you want in your life by going in and seeing that it's an imaginatively creating it through this lens. It doesn't realize that there's a real bear, or if it's a two-dimensional object on the wall that's projecting out a movie. It doesn't know the difference because it's still part of this old style of thought, this old primitive way of your brain functioning. So it functions as if it's still in the beginning of time and you're the first one on the planet, as if you're looking at, the real bear. It doesn't know the difference. So when you have all of these chemical reactions and you're going through your life in a form of stress or something that's happening, just know that this is what's happening inside your body. I hope this is a helpful way to start to get your mind thinking about possibly of seeing that pain is not really something that it is a real thing. Yeah, you get lack of blood flow. Yes, if I cut myself, it's going to hurt, all those stuff. But what I'm saying from the level of, the physicality, if I project a new image of what I want to see and what I don't want to see is the pain, right? So I want to project a healthy body and stop producing the same old dharma in my life that's going to continue to produce a recovery for my reptilian brain to want to always try to give me a recovery or some type of fix, because it's projecting out like projecting out on the idea of climbing the tree. It's projecting out a way to heal you. It's projecting you away from the fear or fight if you need to fight. So it's going to do everything in its power. If you watch what you're watching, or if you're thinking the way you're thinking, it's going to constantly give you an influx. And that's where people are like, oh, you got too much inflammation, it must be from the tomatoes you're eating, or it's from the, no, it's actually you're chemically induced based around how you perceive your reality, which then gives you the inflammation, which then is a part of the tomatoes or any legumes or anything that people were always trying to figure out. But at the end of the day, it's all happening at this level. And if you can grasp this, you'll work your way out. I hope this is a helpful video for you. Subscribe to my channel on YouTube here at Spine Aligner. Go check out Spine Aligner if you haven't already. It's a device that helps you get through some of the hip imbalances that are creating low back pain. I designed it and built it myself. And if you need further help, hit me up with any emails, spinealigner1@gmail.com. Check out my Facebook page if you haven't already done that as well. And I hope you have a great day.